I stay loose, I stay hype. I could do this.
Yeah.
Double kill.
You are fucking insane.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Vigil, you are Dub, turn around, Dub. Look at the cow!
I stay loose, I stay hype. Let's fucking go, man.
Don't need to shoot that. Nice. Door down small. Go right.
What the fuck? Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Hello, and welcome back to the Amateur World League, everybody. My name is Epiphany. Today, I'm joined by Reader, and I am thrilled to finally be on the cast here in the AWL. I've been running things behind the scenes in that first week. I was gone. Now I'm back, and now I'm here to cast, and I'm here and ready to go, and this is going to be such an amazing matchup. I cannot wait. We've got Ironblood. We've got Ruth Regime. How are you doing, Reader?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this matchup. Ironblood Gaming, obviously, winners of the 2022 Challengers Cup, going up against Ruth Regime, or Arrow Esports. I believe it's Ruth Regime, and this is going to be an exciting matchup tonight. There's a lot on the table here. Early season going to get started tonight, and these guys are getting set and ready to go as we speak.
Yeah, they're getting set and ready to go. And, here's the thing, too, is that both of these teams, they have been fighting, trying to get to the point that they're in right now. And, when you look at a team like Ironblood, we just talked with Kanwa. He's looking confident going into these ones. He said something funny, which was, I have an interview answer for you, and I have a non-interview answer for you to the question of, are you scrimming or not? And his interview answer was, yes, we're scrimming night and day out. We're scrimming all the time. And then his non-interview answer was, no, we're not scrimming at all. But they did come out and had an amazing win last week. So I'm hoping for them to do that same thing this time around against Ruth Regime.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a look at the stats quickly and see how these two teams are shaping up, we can kind of get a pre-look into how this game might go. On the side of Ironblood, Kanwa rated 88 overall, Gunfire 89, Requatic 92, and Ariath 77 overall. Flondo rated 74, Rex, which I famously mispronounced his name that first stream, 86 overall, Ize 85, and Vigil at 72 overall. So if we combine all these scores together, Ironblood has the advantage in the games that we played so far, and then at 87 overall, and then just under 10 points behind them would be Ruth Regime at a 79 overall. Second place in the pool is Ironblood Gaming. Third place is Ruth Regime. So big position on the standings to be had tonight as we have a look at that. Electrify Steel sitting number one in that pool with a 3-0 map count. Same with Ironblood, 3-0 map count, tied for first place. Arrow Esports is third in their pool as well. On the other side of things, we have New Threat heading up the other pool with 2 wins, 6 maps taken total.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing to look at there because New Threat, they are the one team that has played two, and in the two, in that pool that they've played, they're the one team that is 6-0, and so it is up to Electrify Steel, it is up to Iron Blood to live up to that, try not to drop a map, and try to stay competitive with New Threat because yes, they are in different pools, but once things start to heat up towards that playoffs area and these teams start to play each other, then that's where it's going to really matter if you are that kind of flawless team going into things. But in general, I'm confident in Iron Blood Gaming in this matchup specifically. When you look at those stats we were mentioning, yes, the overall's not quite in the favor of that Ruth regime team. You know, you've got Vigil at a 72, so we're looking to see him step things up a bit. And you can see Flondo, 74, did get moved to the bench. Now you got Crafty stepping up. We'll see how he can do in his shoes. But yeah, now it's going to end up being Iron Blood 88, 89, 92, 77, as you mentioned. And yes, they do have that higher overall, so I'm looking to see them continue things. But, you know, still third of the pool is Ruth Regime, so they've got lots of interesting things to try to prove themselves. But yeah, moving on over to Aquatic in general. He's got just a really good score across the board. 91 in hardpoint, 94 in S&D, 93 in control. I mean, he's showing up, and he needs to show up in this match if he wants to try to keep things flawless for Iron Blood.
He is our featured player tonight. The only one thing that divides these two teams in the standings, forgetting all the player ratings, is that one map that Ruth Regime lost in their first game. And that's the only thing Iron Blood Gaming has over them in the standings. So coming out of this game will prove a decisive better team and will give them the standing in that second place, possibly first place over Electrify Steel with a second win here tonight. So a lot can be shaken up. Both teams are going to be looking to get at it early on in map 1 that should be coming up very shortly here.
Should be coming up shortly indeed as we just get players situated in the lobby and ready to go. But here's the thing to pay attention to as well. You have this featured player in Aquatic up right there trying to be that dominant force for this Iron Blood squad. And then you've got a storyline. You have a storyline for this Ruth Regime squad. You have players that were literally being hot potato players, jumping from roster to roster to org, and now they're here in Ruth Regime. And so they started out in Cincinnati, then Cincinnati joined Arrow, then Arrow League complications, they had to drop out, then they had to find Ruth Regime. Now they're here under Ruth Regime, under that umbrella. We'll see how they do there. But yeah, you know, Ruth Regime, they swoop in and they take that spot. So that's obviously an interesting storyline to pay attention to. And just another thing too is that this roster has somehow stuck together through all of that. They've found a way to maintain their consistency. And talk about consistency as well. In this match, I'm looking for them to remain that same way. And in one of those ways, you know, I know you were talking about stats earlier, Reader, but that first one being hardpoint, they looked really good as well in the stats.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And just for a little bit of context, all of these changes happened within a week. So I really hope they didn't order jerseys with Cincinnati Strikers or with the one after that, Arrow Esports. Totally. And maybe hold off on Ruth Regime. Give it a week, maybe, hopefully, and they can get those jerseys ordered and start repping their colors. The blue and black for Ruth Regime. So just touching on, our featured player tonight, he's looking like one of the better players in the league. And once more games pass, we're going to be seeing whose overall is going to be the highest by the end of the qualifiers. And Aquatic could very well be up there in that in that number 1 position at the end of these qualifiers. So definitely, these are the players you have to watch. You can look at their number on the map, see where they're going, what they're doing. Very intuitive. As an AR, Aquatic is definitely going to be anchoring those spawns and just holding those long angles and grabbing those long range kills that you especially need on maps like Berlin, that we just found out we're playing S&D, Control, and Hardpoint. 3 maps right in the middle on Berlin, and then squeezed in as a sandwich with the buns being Bocage. we'll play Bocage Hardpoint as the first map, and then we'll come full circle to Bocage S&D at the end. This is really interesting. Looking at the vetoes right away, it seems as if Ruth Regime isn't a big fan of Tuscan. Everybody is very aware of the frame rate drops on Tuscan, although that might not be the reason. But Tuscan can be an iffy map. It's a very common veto. Same with Gavutu, obviously Desert Siege, but looking very similar in the vetoes is what's going to give us this kind of map layout here.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing as well, is that you do see this trend of Gavutu for both of these teams being the veto. Same with Tuscan. The one discrepancy is that Desert Siege for Ruth Regime was not one of their vetoes, so maybe in the future that's what they're trying to incorporate into their map pool. We'll have to see. But yes, it is going to end up being this Berlin sandwich. I like the way that you phrased that one. You've got Bocage Hardpoint starting things off, though. You're going right into the blender. So then you go over to an S&D on Berlin, a lot slower. It's a big contrast, honestly, in pacing. And so with a team like Ironblood, who we know can really turn things up very, very quickly, I'm worried for Ruth Regime on this opening Bocage HP. However, I'm also hopeful for Ruth Regime. As you go into that Berlin, you might start to slow things down and maybe get some consistency going. However, honestly, anybody's game. I'm really just curious to see how this one goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we're talking about Bocage being a blender, you're absolutely right. But I was talking with some of my buddies that I play ranked with, and we kind of agreed, or at least I agreed to disagree with them. But I have this strong feeling that in the future, maybe not Modern Warfare 2, maybe the game after that, one Treyarch makes, that's a lot slower, very similar to what Cold War is like. You're going to miss that fast-paced Bocage action in a gunfight right off spawn kind of ordeal, right? And you know what? You got to savor it as it's last. Everybody goes around, no, I hate Vanguard this, I hate Vanguard that. We are all saying that about Cold War when it started. I hate Cold War this, I hate Cold War that. But at the end of the day, we all think back and go, damn, I miss Raid, I miss Express, you know? Totally. So it happens every single game cycle, and I have a feeling that it's going to happen after Vanguard's all done, and we're all going to miss Bocage's fast-paced action, especially watching it. It's very entertaining. It's very fast. Sometimes it's super hectic, but obviously one team comes out on top one way or another, and it can surprise you. And that is exactly what could happen here. Obviously, Ironblood Gaming, we're not going to sugarcoat or anything. They're the favorites in this one. But certainly, Ruth Regime can come in and take this map one if they start early, if they play well, if they start fragging right off the bat. First 4 down is very important for momentum.
Yeah, it is totally fun to cast this map in general. Bocage is just wild. But yeah, I think you make a great point. That's like the COD player cycle. I've seen memes about it all the time where it's like, new game comes out, players hate it, then they start to like it, then they hate it, and then they start to like it again as the season's rounding out, and then they hate it again. And it's kind of like this whole like up and down cycle that these players have. But yeah, Bocage in general is one of those faster paced, smaller maps. So for the Ruth Regime can come out with all cylinders on check. They should be able to get things going, and hopefully we can get things going here very shortly. But we're going to throw to a quick content break while we get all players in the lobby. Sorry, but we got to throw it away here for a second. Hello everybody, my name is Epiphany, representing the Amateur World League, and today I am joined by the Centric Gaming Group, Cincinnati Strikers.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time? And who can say if your love grows as your heart?
You know, I'm too dog shit to be on the main team. Yeah, I suck too much, not good enough. Playing the sub role.
I play it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and ready to get things going. Just a short little break. Now we're finally into the action. It's going to be Ruth Regime. It's going to be Ironblood Gaming squaring off for the first time in league history right here, right now. Ruth Regime going to be on the right and Ironblood Gaming going to be on the left. Curious to see how these rosters get things going as we get things going. It's nades out, it's guns out. It's time to get into this first bocage as initial kills they go down, and Ironblood looks like Conwa and a Wraith. They're trying to open things up strong.
Yeah, absolutely. First thing to note right off the bat that I noticed, Rex out, Crafty in, and we have a lineup change right off the bat. So Crafty's first game in the AWL coming to light, and obviously the nerves of your first game in a brand new league against a very reputable team can be something some players collapse under and something other players thrive under. We're going to see which way Crafty does. He sits 1-2 very early on. P1 already nearly wrapped up as we sit 19-13 early on for Ironblood Gaming. But as we can see, Ruth Regime is getting this early rotation over onto P2. Conwa, otherwise, is going to shut that down with a nice piece of positioning. He finds a second one right after on Ize, and that's going to secure spawns initially, although we see EX here all the way back behind Tin, and he's looking to grab this quick kill here to change that fact. Wow, that was a long gunfight. EX comes out on top, and we could experience a little bit of a split spawn here, maybe a river spawn for a moment, and Ruth Regime still yet to touch this hard point with almost 30 seconds through. Ironblood sitting 40-11.
Yeah, as Ironblood, they are just holding strong on this P2 right now. Here comes Ruth Regime, though. A front door open, but it's not quite going to result in anything just yet as a Wraith. He goes massive. That was the guy that Kano was talking about in the pre-show to go big on this team, and he's doing just that. Now here he comes. Give him another. It's on a 4 streak here. You got to start thinking about the possibility of streaks does get taken down eventually, though. But it is going to be Ironblood now taking a crack at the last few seconds of the point. Now trying to get the rotation locked in, and it looks like Gunny's he's trying to do so. So he's able to find the kills through the back. Ruth Regime, though, still with the back spawns for the time being. So you expect them to hopefully get some of this time on the P3. Maybe try to equate the time a little bit as Ize, massive gunfight win, now trying to just get into the point. Ironblood, though, even if you don't have the spawns here, you can try to get the rotation onto P4. As Ruth Regime, yes, they do hold strong right now, but we'll see how long it takes for Ironblood to kick it into high gear and break this one.
Ironblood on this P2 and utilizing an interesting strategy where they are going up top grannies and trying to come down and break the hard point. Hasn't worked out so far as Ruth Regime is doing a great job at keeping it, as that's going to be 4 down for them, and they're going to start evening the score here. Only 20 seconds left on P2 before it becomes P3. Ironblood still trying to do some work on this hard point, maybe limit the time Ruth Regime does get out of this scrap time at the moment, but certainly setting up on both P2 side and mid to try to trap Ruth Regime right off the bat when they start rotating over. Doing a good job initially. They're going to find the first couple seconds on this P3. Ize in the back grabbing a race to try to break that line. Rex going to shut down Crafty. Gets traded by Vigil. Ize finding one as well, and this hard point's under fire. Conwa with a couple good shots. He's got another one to deal with. Vigil comes out on top, and the spawns go in favor of Ruth Regime, and they're going to start taking time on this P3 as well. We could see them take a lead here if they're able to box out Ironblood Gaming. Good slide cancel into a kill for Wreck, taking out Vigil Season, and he's also going to find the pistol kill on Crafty, because he knew he didn't have a lot of time to get that kill off to give his team an advantage. He's able to do so, and this point still contested. Ironblood gets taken off now by Ize. Rek finding a kill in the back, and this has been the most contested hardpoint since P1 so far.
Ironblood, they are under fire right now, just as you said, because it's going to end up being Ruth Regime taking that lead effectively here very, very soon. But rotation going to be in for the side of the Ironblood boys. Now they're here, 56 seconds and counting. You got a whole lot of time here that you can gain on this P5. But look at that, spawns also in for Ironblood Gaming too. But Ruth Regime, look at that, they're breaking in. They found their way through. It's still 45 seconds left. You can get a lot of time here. And now you look at Crafty, the new guy on the block, starting things off decently strong here, 12 and 14. Consistent KD, not able to win that gunfight. But Ironblood, they're trying to just break in as Convoy. He does find that 2-piece. But so far, it has been a nice steady, competitive game from both of these teams, and it's been about those big plays, like right there with Vigil, able to find that two-piece and break in. It is going to end up being wrecked towards the top, though, try to prevent any kind of push forward, but Vigil, he tries to go big. That's going to be the first kill taken down eventually, but look at that, spawns. They are still going to be locked in for Ruth Regime. Ironblood, they have yet to find a way to secure those P1 spawns, which, of course, P2 implications needing to be considered there, as Ize, he holds the line.
Yeah, Ruth Regime decided to set the pace after P1 pretty high. It's all up to now see if they can hold on to this quick game play they've created here, as they are flying across the map to grab the retakes. If they're able to keep up with themselves and keep Ironblood on their heels, they may be able to start running up the clock. Net gain since the end of P2 has been all in favor of Ruth Regime almost, as it was tied just a moment ago. We now sit at 124 to 96. Crafty finding a good kill. He gets traded out. Conwa on the point. He immediately gets knocked off, and that's the nature of P1. Ironblood in those back randy spawns still in the back of their heads, thinking about going around. Is exactly what iWraith was thinking, although he does get gunned down in barn, and Crafty's gonna push up a little bit. He's gonna pay for that, as Rek will find him with a pistol, and he'll find a second one on Vigil, and Ironblood is locking down initial on this P2. Second rotation of hardpoints well underway at this point, and this one is neck and neck at this point, as EX is going to find a great kill on Conwa top barn for that positioning. And this P2 hardpoint is going back and forth. Ruth Regime, though, might come out on top with those spawns. Good nades coming through, as always, as Rex still is yet to be taken off Lamar Heady. As I say that, Vigil season will find him and another before he's traded by Gunny. And Ruth Regime is going to break this 150-point mark. Ooh, maybe not, as Ize does get taken off the hard point, and it stays white for a moment. They will find that 150-point breaker before Ironblood, and that's going to be almost a 50-point advantage for Ruth Regime.
And Ruth Regime, they have blown this one wide open. It was a competitive game at the beginning, but now it has reduced to a slaughter by a few different means. You can see all players starting to turn up in that kill feed. You can see X going big with the two-piece right there, and the dominoes, they continue to fall, as now it's full control of this P3 for Ruth Regime. Spawns going to be for Ironblood Gaming, but what does that mean? You have P4 if you're Ruth Regime, so you continue to hold the line. It's another 4 down for Ruth Regime, and this is what we were talking about, Reader. They just have to come out swinging, and they're doing just that, as Vigil now holding the line on the point, able to find the first one. AR's in. It is just blue all over the kill feed. Ironblood, they need to find the breakthrough. Wraith next up, next down. It is going to be Ruth Regime holding strong still, as X, he keeps going massive. That's another kill to his name. It's Gunny now trying to find his breakthrough, but regardless, it's gonna be still the heads up plays from Ruth Regime. Ize now getting the rotation in. Shots in initially here, but hopefully spawns get locked down for him as he makes the effort to get through the back. That's gonna be the first kill onto a Wraith there. Now Conwa trying to put his piece of the pie down. It is going to end up being Ruth Regime now with the spawns trying to break in, and here it comes. They break in once more as Vigil goes big again.
Yeah, great shots from Vigil right there, keeping the hard point in the blue, and they're gonna break this 200-point mark, as Ironblood has yet to find much success at all breaking hills. The second Ruth Regime is able to find the angle and get on the hard point. They've been able to hold it, especially with not a lot of manpower. Rek is on a nice heady here on a tank. P2 side is able to find 1 out of 10. This could allow his teammates with an opportunity to break the hard point. They will do so, but it's almost too late here for Ironblood Gaming, and they're going to need to chain a couple hills together and start getting a vast majority of time. That pistol doesn't quite work out for Rek as he falls to EX, but his teammates are going to pick up the slack as rotation's already on for P5, and it's really fast play here for Conwa. He anticipates the left corner and will find Crafty. This hard point starts white, but Conwa's going to get on it as Ruth Regime is still trying to make their way through mid and into street. Conwa's going to try to support, but he finds himself pinched by Crafty, who gets traded by Rek, and we go back and forth on the street until one team can grab the time on this hard point. It's staying white for the most part right now as both teams are just exchanging, and the speed of the game just sped up by about 100 times as everybody's relying on the reaction time to win these gunfights. Is right here. A Wraith will not find it fast enough as Crafty will get traded eventually by Gunny, and this hard point stays Iron Blood for right now with just 16 seconds. Ruth Regime still pressing hard, understanding every little piece of time matters on a Bocage, especially at this point of the map. And P1 is about to become active. Ruth Regime has those spawns for P2 if they're able to hold on to them, and this P1 is going to be contested as it has been. And if Iron Blood keeps gaining on Ruth Regime, we might see pressure applied from the time clock on both teams, and we're going to see if it's going to be one of those finishes today.
Iron Blood, they are trying to kick things into full gear, but who else is doing so? It's Ruth Regime. They're coming out strong. They're trying to close this one out, but it is closing in a little bit. So Iron Blood Gaming, they're trying to find their way forward, but XC's going big as well. This is a night and day difference for this Ruth Regime roster. They're going as big as possible, but who else is too? It's Rek. Finds two towards the middle of the map. Now securing spawns for this Iron Blood squad. You'll have a bit of time left on this P1, but most importantly, it's going to be about that rotation towards that P2, and Rek, he still tries to defend here towards bottom barn. Shots in, not quite going to result in the kill just yet. There he goes, he finishes it off. But still, it is going to end up being Ruth Regime trying to get through, and somehow they get spawns again. Look at that hold from Ruth Regime. They're still there in the back, but Iron Blood, now they have to break from the front. It is 220 to 179, 30 seconds left on the game clock. You are completely right, Reader. This one could completely come down to the timer, as look at that, it's going to be Iron Blood breaking in once more, trying to creep up ever so slightly on that Ruth Regime lead, and it is reducing. The margin is slowing. However, Ruth Regime, they are not trying to slow down. They are trying to stay on the point consistently as the kills continue to move in their favor.
Yeah, 230 to 188, 27 seconds remaining, and just how fast that clock can run down on you without you paying attention. All of a sudden, there's only 26 seconds left on the clock, and you understand that somebody's got to be on the point, or else this one's going to come down to time. And Ruth Regime, in their case, it might be in their favor, as they with spawns ignored that P2 point and kept it white here for a moment. And as soon as Iron Blood realized they need to get on the point, Ruth Regime took advantage, and that's when they executed their retake. Right now, Iron Blood Gaming in the back of Ferrani's holding on to those spawns as both teams are creeping up on each other. 216 to 231 now. Iron Blood still on the hard point. Coming down from the top is a Ruth Regime member, and he'll execute the break. That was Crafty and Ize tag team together, and they're going to try to get the spawn trap in on Iron Blood Gaming. One's already sneaking up through P5 right now, so I don't know if that's going to work in the way they want it to, as Conwell will find his second, his third, and the break here will be rebroken as Iron Blood six back on the hard point. It's 243 to 229. And one of the most exciting finishes to date in a Bocage hard point. Conway gets immediately taken out as he exits the hard point, but Iron Blood Gaming is still on it. Only scrap time left on this hard point, but you can't get off of it, because if you do, that time clock starts ticking back down. We are going to end this game in the barn, 243 to 243. Irate getting a kill, gonna get traded with a pistol by Vigil, and it's contested at the start, and that clock starts to run down. Vigil with a couple, and he's gonna take the hard point. It's 247, he gets taken off, it's contested, the clock runs. Ruth Regime gets back on and will win the game. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating right now, as that was possibly the closest Bocage hardpoint I've ever seen in my life. Wildly entertaining from both sides, but honestly, Ruth Regime's strategy this game was to keep it fast, keep Iron Blood guessing, and be elusive around the map, and it's what they utilized in gunfights to rely on the reaction time. As you know, this Ruth Regime team is full of young guys, and they can be a lot quicker if they want to be, and Bocage is the excellent place to execute that strategy, as they will take that map just barely over Iron Blood Gaming.
That was unbelievable stuff out of the side of Ruth Regime. But talk about Iron Blood with the massive regain. They found a way, they found a rhyme, they found a reason to get back into that game to the point where they almost won it. Ruth Regime, they started to lose some of the consistency on the hill rotation. They started to squander a little bit. However, Iron Blood, they were starting to kick things up. They did not let up anywhere towards the end of that match. They were trying to take that one, and they almost did. But it was big plays by a player like Vigil throughout that entire map that we were looking to see him make, that he did make. And that's the thing, is that Vigil, we were looking at him and he had a lower KD overall, lower score overall, and now he's starting to turn that story around in his favor. In Ruth Regime, they are taking that map 1 after a very, very dominant cascade of hills. However, eventually, it did come down to the wire. But still, Ruth Regime, they pull out in front, so it is going to end up being them trying to be in the driver's seat of the rest of this match as we head on over to some Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, we're going into Search and Destroy next, and these two teams, neck and neck in Bocage, neck and neck in the respawn, but we know now that Ruth Regime has those tools on the respawn, especially the fast-paced ones like a Bocage hardpoint. But do they have the tools to take control of a Berlin Search and Destroy, or a Search and Destroy just in general? We're gonna find out. Ironblood here looking to even up this series at 1. Ruth Regime trying to put the pressure on Ironblood and force match point going into a control. Lots more action on the way as we're gonna head to an intermission. When we come back, Berlin control.
Oh, yeah, it's GG's. He's gonna be heading that right now.
Even better.
Hello everybody, my name is Epiphany, staff manager and head of casting here at the AWL, and I am joined by Pyth, our lead producer, as well as Aslo, the league commissioner today. I'm curious how you guys are doing, and if you guys could just go around and just say, of course, how you're doing and what you represent here at AWL, then that'd be great.
All right, I'll go first. My name is Eli. Or you can call me Aslo.
And I'm Pius.
All right, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. First question, obviously either of you can answer it, as was the goal of forming the AWL. Why did you decide to make it in the first place?
AWL was born of the idea of creating a sort of premium amateur experience that's similar to the Pro League. And the way that we partner with teams, and the focus is really on promoting the organizations and growing together, and then also supporting the players and also reaching the community. And so there's this kind of multifaceted approach that we hope will be well-rounded and well-received by people.
Awesome. Well, that leads me into my next question, which is, what are you looking forward to about the AWL season ahead, and what are the plans coming up?
Yeah, so first up, and you're watching it right now, is our AWL Vanguard Major right at the tail end of this competitive season. But coming next season with Modern Warfare 2, we'll have a full year-long season that we're planning for that will feature about 4 majors and a champs. And there's a lot of formatting questions we still have to answer before we release what.
Welcome back. We are about to get set and underway for a Berlin Search and Destroy. Again, my name is Reader. I'm joined by Epiphany, and man, was that hell of a map 1 that we just watched. Both teams exchanging blows, and in the end, it was Ruth Regime winning it in awesome fashion, and this S&D I can only expect will go the same way unless we find that 1 or 2 of these players have excellent tools in S&D rather than hardpoint. So we are going to find that out in just a few moments here as we enter the loading screen for this Berlin Search and Destroy. And if you could predict anything, Epiphany, what would you think is going to happen here?
Well, yes, we're talking about the tools, and of course, in tools, it's a toolbox. So there needs to be teamwork from this Ironblood squad if they want to try to equate this series 1-1. Teamwork clearly was on point for the side of Ruth Regime. Ironblood, they need to turn that factor up a little bit more here, and you can see that they were doing it at the end there. So actually, it's kind of a momentum thing for both of these teams. But yeah, I mean, the tools in the toolbox, though, I'm looking at specific players. Specifically, I'm looking at Requatics. I'm looking at Conwa to really turn up. That's, I'd say, probably who I'm looking at. But when it comes to Ironblood in general, they just need to come out swinging because Ruth Regime, they sure did that in that last map.
Yeah, for sure. Round 1 already underway. We have Ruth Regime on attack here, trying to make their way onto the A side, and it looks like Ironblood's in a good position to try to halt this attack. Already, we have a first blood obtained here from Ironblood Gaming, giving them a significant advantage on defense, but EX with this position here could find a free kill, although the timing may have not exactly been in his favor. EX still able to pick up that kill. Ize in the back. Already getting taken down. We have 2v1 now as Wreck, the last one standing. Good kill from Ize, and that puts the favor back into Ruth Regime. Here comes Wreck, though, as he's going to go around dubsteps and find the kill. We have a 1v1, and it's Wreck versus Ize. Wreck's going to try to double back towards B side, outside fire. Ize following him, it seems, as these two players are likely going to meet in fire or in P3. Out comes Ize towards the bomb to try to pick it up. Only 20 seconds on the clock now.
Only 20 seconds left now. Intense 1v1 here. It is going to be Bomb in the hands of number 3, Ize. He's getting that plant down, but here comes Wreck. 9 seconds. He just has to stall the time. There goes the Chow, but Iron Blood, they are going to come out on top of that round. Wreck able to win the gunfight, bring them up 1-0. It was a bit of a risky round. The trades weren't really going in their favor when it came to that first part of the round, but they eventually are able to equate things out and even the waters. So they do take that first round in that 1v1. However, definitely a scary one to start things off, as now defending is going to be Ruth Regime. I'm curious to see how they try to read the Ironblood attack, and if Ironblood's going to use that defensive win advantage to try to throw them off a little bit, as Bomb in the hands of number 7, Wraith, going to be moving on over towards that B site. But who's there as well? It's Ruth Regime, of course, and it's going to be Vigil first up to try to take that gunfight.
Yeah, 4v4 stunned right now is Vigil, who sits very pushed up on docks right now. Ironblood trying to force this B-side hit under some contest bright and early. Conwa, the rogue man who went A, will get absolutely double teamed there by EX and Co. And that's going to be first blood in favor of Ruth Regime. First blood's going in favor of both defensive sides. Ooh, evener there from Gunny. Crafty through the window. The destructible environment can be very annoying sometimes. Worked in his favor there as he's able to find that kill. Gunny's left the last man standing. He will get a kill out on Ize. He's got to deal with the man on the point now. Can't quite find the aim assist over the dice crates and will fall at the hands of Ruth Regime. The defuse underway now, and they're going to tie it up. So defensive teams both winning their rounds. We sit 1-1 after 2.
Yeah, Ruth Regime is really trying to set up a regime here. They are trying to become the ones on top of it all. As Crafty, again, the new kid on the block, trying to turn up in any way possible. And if you look at it on paper, it's a good roster change for Ruth Regime. Flondo maybe not putting up the exact numbers that they wanted. And now Crafty, he's coming in, starting off with 2 kills already on this second round. As we go into the third, though, it is going to end up being X with Bomb. And it looks like we do have player drops. So we are going to have to do a lobby reset here and go back to casters and figure things out as we try to figure out what went wrong there. But we'll probably be starting that 1-1-1 even score. But, you know, Raider, I just want to ask you, what were you noticing initially in that search and destroy from both teams?
Yeah, like I said, both defensive sides getting those first wins, also getting those first bloods. Definitely important if you're a attacking team, but I feel like it's a little bit more important as a defensive team to find that first pick, because it gets tough for a team to take a site, completely take control of it if you're a man down on attack. So, obviously, great work by both Ironblood and Ruth Regime right off the bat there, and we're just gonna go into it, and it's gonna be, you know, first to 5 instead of first to 6. So, lobby reset. Both teams get the time to breathe and obviously take notes on what their opponents were doing in that first round. We could see strategy switch up, and you know, it's a good opportunity. It's like a timeout.
Yeah, there you go. It's a match timeout like in the CDL. But yeah, you know, I want to say Ruth Regime, they were setting things up really well on those defensive rounds. I saw their splits were really nice. Ironblood as well, they seemed to be very decisive. You had like that 3-player push on over towards B, one going into P2. But in general, I'd say both of these teams, I think they know what they want to achieve. It's really coming down to the gunfights and the execution. I think the strategy is there. I think it's going to come out to who's able to execute properly.
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw, Conway was that rogue man on the A site during Iron Blood's B push on their attacking round that they lost. I wonder if they're going to try that again to try to find that pick on the A side or confuse their opponents a little bit, or was it their downfall by not sending all 4 players over onto that B site? I'm not sure really if teams have been watching the cross, but maybe gathering that valuable information right off the bat for that attacking team can give you the edge and let you understand if you need to send that player over onto the other side or if you should take all 4 to the site that you're hitting. So lots of things to think about off of those first 2 rounds. It looks like this lobby is still under the process of getting set up once again, but we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see indeed, and I think we'll just probably throw it to a quick break here while we get all of that situated. But when we come back, it's gonna be 1-1 in the search and destroy as we get things going.
I feel like Envoy. I feel like Scumpy.
What's good, guys? Hidden season. I'm joined here with not right there. Confid.
Shut the
And
fuck
we're gonna
up,
be
buddy.
going we're gonna be going over the callouts for this beautiful map. Tuscan. Looks like I don't know, like Cuba, I'd assume.
Bruh. This is Italy, bro. Do you not see the fucking flag? This is back tank. Also known as God tank, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Wait, you could honestly I'm sure rank play kids call this Dashy tank or Lamar tank.
Yeah, that's the
I
tank.
don't know. Usually I just say he's
Page.
on the back tank. He's on the back tank, playing his life.
So where Sino Page can't gun me, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out, praise.
Let me know, is this G8? Is this spot G8 in the AWL? Alright. So I need a sip of Wawa. One sec, bro.
Are you cut?
What's that P2? Nah, I call that T-door, bro. You're tweaking.
Oh,
Think about a P2 that's 2 syllables.
Alright,
That can make all the difference.
Dog, you're not my English.
Yeah, that can make all the difference in the battle, bro. Shout out, praise my shots. Yo.
Praise my
Yes,
bold
sir.
card.
Alright.
No way, you just said that, bro.
Yeah, a pretty cheeky bastard if you play in this corner right here, I gotta say.
Dog,
Looks
that's
like
dead,
the,
dog.
bro, what's the cereal? The cinnamon stick?
Dog.
Yo.
Dog.
Now I'm hungry, bro, trust.
You're always hungry.
Here. Okay, dude. It's just this is roofs. You can call this low roof. Come back this way to P5. Where are you going? We literally just covered that.
Brother.
Alright.
All right, everybody. Well, we're getting loaded back into this Berlin Search and Destroy. It is going to effectively be 1-1. Obviously, it won't say it on your screen, but it is going to be the first to 5. Whoever gets to that 5 mark first is going to be taking this map away and putting it in their hands. You know, Ruth Regime, they're trying to be the ones to do that. They're trying to start, 2-0 in the series here, basically requiring Ironblood to get that reverse sweep, and what a storyline that would be for the squad that has gone through so much turbulence, and Ironblood, who has, so far, been seen as a very dominant squad.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I see a lot of comments in the chat about how much, they hate Vanguard, lots of things Activision did wrong with custom lobbies and all that stuff. But hey, don't forget Cold War's custom lobbies that would close on you every 2 seconds. That was absorbently annoying. And this is a lot better than that. So we will take it. First to 5, just as a reminder, we will not be playing the round 6 in this as we sat 1-1 before the lobby reset. EX going to grab the first blood for Ruth Regime on the attack. And we will now sit 4-3. Ooh, Vigil in a gunfight there. He's actually going to back down from that. But the intel given to Crafty is going to allow him to pick up that kill. And Ruth Regime starting off with a decent advantage.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 players up for the side of Ironblood Gaming. 44 seconds left for Ruth Regime. You have time to get things going. And he's got his fists going and ready to go, though, too. He's able to find the punch on the first gunfight. Wraith able to equate things out, though. It's a 2 versus 1. All up to a Wraith for this Ironblood squad. Bomb going to be in the middle of the map. So, slight advantage to Ironblood as he knows where that bomb is, I think. But you can see that it is a very close engagement about to happen. Here comes the gunfight, though. Diving around the front of the circle. Ruth Regime, they're able to come out on top of that gunfight, and they're able to go up 2-1 in the S&D here. It's going to end up being this gunfight from Axe as he goes around and just starts going like a carousel, honestly. just zipping around that center block. They're able to win that gunfight.
Yeah, they played ringing around the rosy for a moment until they realized that they were right next to each other on the other side of that divider that sits in P5. On Berlin, still coming out on top was Ruth Regime. They're going to take this lead 2-1 after 3 rounds played. Conwa picking up bomb, and it looks like Ironblood Gaming is going to send it B to start off, as everybody's very focused on that first blood. A good stun coming through is going to slow down Conwa, but he's still going to make it to that tank and all the way to the site here. That's going to be the intelligence for Ruth Regime to start to make that rotation, especially EX, who's likely going to start that flank through train station. Ize is going to find the first blood on Gunny, as the B bomb will get planted. 45 seconds on the clock, an evener from a Wraith, but he gets immediately traded by Crafty. Good heads up play by Crafty to grab that trade way out of his way of what he was doing, but he's still able to fight and keep the advantage on the side of Ruth Regime, as we are well into this post plant now.
Indeed, we're well into the post plant, and you can see we're well into the setup of Ironblood as they have set up a trap. Conwa able to find 2. It's a 1 versus 1 effectively. X, he did find his way through the back. I was going to point that out on the mini-map. He was all the way back there. Now he finds his way forward. Stuns forward as well. It's the big gunfight. It's for the round. Ironblood Gaming, they're able to win that one as he just finesses in the site, honestly. Conwa starting to really heat things up, able to find 3 on the round. And look at the jump shots. The shots are in, the pre-fires. He's looking good at trying to equate this series out 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, EX tossing that nade in the site. He had a nade left over from the start of the round. He tosses it in there, and I guess he just expected that the nade was going to do enough damage that he could finish off the kill with a pistol. Not in the cards for him, as Conwa will increase his KD to 3. At the moment, it's 3-1 carrying his team. Rex still yet to find his first kill in the last 2 rounds. Gunny finding the first blood right off the bat on this A-side push for Ruth Regime.
He's going to be able to find the first one, and so is Ruth Regime trying to find the first entry into the point. But as far as the kills go, it's going to be Ironblood coming out on top, and that is a quick round. They're able to come out on top very quickly as they go up in the series now. They're going to be with that 3-1 advantage. 3-2 advantage, I think it would be actually with the added score. And so Ironblood, very good, consistent round. You can see Rek, he had great shots there. That was just a bit of an overzealous push from Ruth Regime, I think.
Yeah, these teams going back and forth just up until that last round where Ironblood was able to sneak ahead with 2 in a row, stringing a couple rounds together to give them their first lead of the game. Split push here from Ironblood Gaming. I wouldn't be surprised if they were looking for that first initial pick. They split out P5, and our Wraith is able to find that first pick. Conwa not so lucky, but Crafty falls as a little bit of equalizer. Now all of a sudden it's just Vigil, the last man standing in a 1v3 scenario. The bomb's gonna be planted on A, and he's already under pressure from a player down street that I'm not sure he knows who's there. He's going to make his way up into P5 very cautiously. This is where your heart starts pumping, and every decision around every corner is going to be, could be your death, as it was right there for him. And Ironblood will take their 3rd round in a row, increasing their lead to 4-2, taking the first 2-round advantage in this S&D.
It feels like the COD gods have started flipping coins for who's winning these rounds. I mean, you have dominant rounds out of both teams right now. You've got Ironblood Gaming coming out on top of these rounds in like dominant ways. Then you got Ruth Regime doing the exact same, hitting amazing routes, making great plays. And it is just looking like a rough one, though, for Ruth Regime now so suddenly. As Ironblood, they try to tie this one up, quite frankly, and it's a 4-2 advantage for them. You got one mistake if you're Ruth Regime. Talk about mistakes, though. You're almost going to make one, though, as you almost get first blooded, and there it is, though, for the side of Ironblood, as Ize, he's able to find 2. So mistakes now going to be on the side of Ironblood, and this is what I'm saying. It is just so back and forth, but the shots are in now to a Wraith towards bottom docks. Crafty goes for the chow, though, but somehow loses the gunfight. It's a 2 versus 2 effectively. Now Gunny last alive, 1 versus 2. It's Vigil season. Ize left up to try to make the dirty work happen. Here comes the B plant, and here comes Gunny on the route.
Yeah, 2v1. This is a very winnable round here from Gunny. If he plays it right, he's got to isolate his opponents. And for Ruth Regime, he's got to play together and play that trade. It's not even going to come down to that, as he just gets absolutely smackdowned in the back, close to dice. And Ruth Regime will cut Ironblood's streak down and take a round, bringing them to just within one of a tie game, sitting 4-3 now, still in favor of Iron Blood Gaming. What a good round from Ruth Regime. It's going to be their bounce back. It's going to be their regain, and they need to be able to completely swing the momentum in their favor on this defensive round. They're going to need a clean one. Iron Blood Gaming, a Wraith picks up the bomb on the attack. It looks like they're heading for another split push a little bit here, and sometimes it's a battle of the playbooks, you know. Conwa is able to find that pick against EX, and that's going to be the go-ahead first blood for Iron Blood Gaming, and it just seems as if the strategies run deep here for Iron Blood Gaming, as we saw not a couple rounds ago that they were able to find a good round on a very aggressive mid push. Ize is going to go on a ×5 right now, and streaks could come into play very shortly as he nearly finds the kill on the man sitting back dice. That would be Gunny, and he's sitting very low back there. Gunfight between Vigil and a Wraith will find Vigil winning that one, and everything's unfolding around the bomb site. Vigil season will finish off Gunny and find the defuse for Ruth Regime. And man, things were so relaxed at the start, but it all went down for Iron Blood Gaming at the end there, as simultaneously 3 or 4 gunfights were going on all at the same time. Ruth Regime not able.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that the envoy of Iron Blood goes on over towards that B site initially. That's where they decide to take a swing. And then things start to go awry because they do the fake out over at A. They find those initial kills and you think, oh, perfect. They've effectively made Ruth Regime rotate over to A because they think that they're planting there. When, you know, they get the bomb down, they have everything going in their favor, but it doesn't matter if you don't win the gunfights. Ize, he goes huge, reduces the numbers, and gets the retake. That is a breakdown for Iron Blood, and now you have things at 4 apiece. You have a minute on the clock if you're Ruth Regine to try to get this bomb down. You have time to work with. But talk about the reads, though, from Ize in the continuation of last round's rampage. He makes that read onto Gunny. He's able to get away with his life, though, but Crafty gonna make sure Wraith doesn't. He's gonna get onto the point and get that B-bomb down as Gunny now tries to go big. It's gonna be a 3 versus 2 in the favor of Ruth Regime. Here comes Gunny, though, through the middle of the map alongside Rek. It's going to end up being a full setup from Ruth Regime. You got a player back warehouse. You got 2 in the site. This is a hard one to break, boys.
Yeah, this is something that we've seen since the very early beginnings of competitive Vanguard, where you have this guy sitting back in the warehouse and watching over the bomb. Able to get in there is going to be
1v1.
1v1 here for EX, and he's going to have the great positioning here from Ruth Regime to clutch up and find match point. I remind you, we had to restart at 1-1, so 5 is the score to achieve in this game, as technically we sit 5-3, I believe, in favor of Ruth Regime. What a great play at the end, and Ruth Regime is once again finding their groove.
Yeah, so it started at 1-1, so I believe it's 5-4 right now in favor of Ruth Regime. Same difference though. So at this point, it is going to be Ruth Regime trying to make their way forward, trying to go up 2-0 in the series, and we talked about the massive implications this would have. As look at the blue line on your minimap, they are holding strong, and they've decided to opt for just taking a gander at which site Ironblood's going for, and it looks like their pick is going to end up being B. So now Vigil, he is here to try to be that early defender. It's 37 seconds for Ruth Regime to work with right now. You are allowed 1 mistake before that round 11 does occur. So it is going to end up being that 30 seconds and counting, and Conwa trying to take Crafty out for the count as well, as it is going to end up being Ironblood trying to get this defusal down, but look who's on it. It's Ize, but look who's on the Overwatch. It's Rek. It's X, all left up in the 1 versus 4. Ironblood, they take that site so decisively because Ruth Regime isn't there to defend it, and they just set things up so quickly, so definitively, and they get that round 11 locked in.
5-5 after 10 rounds play. We go into a round 11. Oh, damn, Conwa. Long shots with that pistol. You could hardly even see the iron sight, how fast he was cooking that pistol to try to find that kill. But 5-5, we sit. Iron Blood Gaming, Ruth Regime. And right before this game, Epiphany, we were talking about, you know, very close respawn at the start, fast pace can be not a good sign of how the rest of the series is going to go. But man, it turns out that these two teams are neck and neck as it all comes down to this round 11. First blood from Rec, who will find it cleanly. Conwa coming in for a kill, and Iron Blood looks like they are out for blood right now. X will start to even things up, but it's gonna be for nothing as Iron Blood rolls over Ruth Regime in the round 11. No competition. Iron Blood finds map 2 and another extraordinarily close search and destroy, and we sit 1-1 in this series. And man, am I excited for what's to come, because this has just been so entertaining. It can't get any closer than this, folks.
There is blood all over Berlin, and it is not Iron Bloods. It is Ruth Regimes, and they are here to play and talk about the closeness of this series, Reader. It is absolutely unbelievable. We have yet another Berlin to go to, though, and if Iron Blood, if the Berlin is where they thrive, then surely we should see them do well on the control. But you never know, it is going to end up being a short break before we head on over to that map. But talk about the series. It is a round 11. It is a 250 to 244. It doesn't get a whole lot closer than this, and now it's going to be all about the regain for Ruth Regime. So we'll see how they decide to do that as we get loading into the next map. We'll see you all very shortly.
Oh yeah, it's GG's. He's gonna be heading that right now.
Yeah. Even better.
Hello everybody, my name is Epiphany, staff manager and head of casting here at the AWL, and I am joined by Pyth, our lead producer, as well as Aslo, the league commissioner today. I'm curious how you guys are doing, and if you guys could just go around and just say, of course, how you're doing and what you represent here at AWL, then that'd be great.
All right, I'll go first. My name is Eli. Or you can call me Aslo.
And I'm Pius.
All right, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. First question, obviously either of you can answer it, as was the goal of forming the AWL. Why did you decide to make it in the first place?
AWL was born of the idea of creating a sort of premium amateur experience that's similar to the Pro League. And the way that we partner with teams, and the focus is really on promoting the organizations and growing together, and then also supporting the players and also reaching the community. And so there's this kind of multifaceted approach that we hope will be well-rounded and well-received by people.
Awesome. Well, that leads me into my next question, which is, what are you looking forward to about the AWL season ahead, and what are the plans coming up?
Yeah, so first up, and you're watching it right now, is our AWL Vanguard Major right at the tail end of this competitive season. But coming next season with Modern Warfare 2, we'll have a full year-long season that we're planning for that will feature about 4 majors and a champs. And there's a lot of formatting questions we still have to answer before we release what it'll look like. But stay tuned at the end of this Vanguard Major for more details on what's coming around the corner.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We just came back from an unbelievable map 2, where we had that round 11 win from Iron Blood. As I said, a blood on the walls right now for both of these teams, and it is going to end up being another Berlin as we move on over towards Control for this next one. As yeah, it's also going to be another one after that as well. So hopefully Ruth Regime, they're able to hold their own in Berlin here. Otherwise, it is going to be a swift 3-1 win for Iron Blood. But I have a feeling that's not on our horizon, is it, Reader?
No, I don't think it's going to be a rollover by either team, to say the least. And in this Berlin sandwich, I'm actually very happy we're going to a Berlin Control as map 3, considering the first 2 maps were as close as they possibly could be. 2 250 to 244 map 1. Round 11 win for Ironblood in Berlin. And this Berlin control, since it's not really favored on one side or the other compared to Gavutu or Tuscan control, this one could also exchange rounds similarly to the way they did in Search and Destroy. So I'm very, very excited to see how this unravels, who takes attack rounds, who takes defensive rounds, as I believe we are seeing, I can't quite tell at the moment, I believe it's Ruth Regime that's starting on the attack. I believe Ironblood is going to be on defense, and we are going to get right started. I have it the other way, is Ruth Regime on defense, Ironblood on the attack. Actually, as we see Conwa early on going for this B site, but a 3-man hit going towards A, trying to get that early capture. First blood going in favor of Rec.
You know, I'm really curious to see how the teamwork comes out in this control, considering the fact that I think the teamwork for both of these teams is there. It's going to become who is better at that teamwork, who's going to be able to prevail. Talk about prevailing, though, it's Gunny through that gunfight with the rat in hand, as well as Ruth Regime. They're still struggling to get on over towards the point. Ize, though, he's going to dip his toes over towards A. But eventually, it's going to end up being Ironblood actually trying to get that offense over towards B at the current moment. But Vigil, he's got a few bullets to say about that as he's able to take one down. But Conwa and a Wraith trying to make light work happen towards the middle of the map. Has 45 seconds left here for Ironblood to try to get on over towards a point, as they do dip their toes in B at this point. As here comes a Wraith, though, over towards A right now, already trying to be the thorn in the side of Ruth Regime, trying to cause some trouble.
You know what? Both teams are pretty even on the score sheet right now, but I feel as if Ruth Regime is finding those kills at the important times right now, making the impact that they need to keep Ironblood gaming off of the point. And all of a sudden, Ironblood's in a position without either points captured where they're facing pressure from the clock. 22 seconds, they're able to stop it by hopping on B, but that's really their only focus right now, as Ruth Regime is more or less going to give up that B site here in favor of keeping the live advantage that they have. That's 18 to 16 right now. And they're going to look to be able to finish it off on that A site. Ironblood with only 15 lives to work with, half of the lives that they had to focus on only one site. They are able to get a few down over on the backside of that B captured site already, and Ironblood's going to start to even things up. A little bit of a flank coming through from Gunny right now, 14 to 13, and they're able to touch this A site right now. Could they keep Ruth Regime to P3? Are they going to be able to take all of it? The capture is happening fast. It's a 3-stack on it right now. Progress is made. It's just one tick. Can Ruth Regime get there in time? I don't believe they can do it. No. Blood is going to capture A to win the first round in a round that Ruth Regime had on lock to start it off. Ironblood comes flying across the map and is able to find the capture. What an attacking round from Ironblood Gaming.
And I mean, how characteristic would it be of this series for that to happen, right? You have a team like Ruth Regime doing great at the beginning, and then Ironblood comes through, comes out on top with an unbelievable double capture, wins the attack round, and also characteristic of Berlin, though, too. So that is a hope point for Ruth Regime. You just have to try to equal things out and get a capture, but Conwa, he is not trying to let that happen, but Ruth Regime, they have other ideas in their head. It's going to be on over towards A for now. They have 3 players on. Here comes the 4th. It's going to be Crafty trying to make his way forward as well, but Ize trying to make his way forward as well. It's going to be an A point possible capture. If they capture this A point, it's usually a very easy B cap. It's only about 96% of the times that teams don't cap it. It's just a sliver left. But here comes the envoy of Ironblood. They finally break in. But look at that, number 6. He's still up. It's going to be Crafty trying to just play his life. That's the first kill. Can he get the second? No, he cannot. Rec able to take care of him, put him in the blender, and now it's going to end up being the reroute over towards B. It was a good effort from Ruth Regime to almost capture that A point. It was very, very close. But now they try to get on to B, but Ironblood, they've got a few things to say about that too. They are coming out swinging. They are coming out racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ruth Regime finding those first 2 ticks on the A side is incredibly valuable for the latter part of this round that we'll see. Now it's just up to them to find that B site, and then they only have to really think about 1 remaining tick. They were able to do it with only 4 lives lost, and that will be incredibly valuable for them later. 22-19 in favor of Ironblood right now, as they are keeping Ruth Regime off of this B site in awesome fashion. Gunny's able to find yet another one on the site. He sits straight under fire, tagged up and finished off by Vigil. And that's going to give Ruth Regime a little bit of time on this B site, as they are already trying to apply pressure onto the A site. At the same time, they have to be careful. They need to make sure that they don't stretch themselves too thin, as both EX and a teammate are waiting for Ironblood players to hop out of P3. Wow, Khan was able to find 2 of them, both of them, to negate that trade, and that's going to be a huge kill for Ironblood Gaming. That B site has been captured, so we're only talking about 1 tick remaining for Ruth Regime. They have 12 lives and 1 minute and 10 seconds to do so, and it's going to come down to whichever team is able to find the momentum and the extra energy at the end of this round to be able to hold on. And it looks like Ironblood is keeping Ruth Regime to the outside, specifically outer. The forced spawn is active and the trap can commence, as you can see a Wraith coming in, swarming, finding 2. Can he find a 3rd? With the pistol, he burgers a little bit, and X will find that late trade on him, but still a massive hit to Ruth Regime, as they sit with just 6 lives standing right at the end, and they only really have 1, possibly a second good push left on this last tick on A to finish it out.
Yeah, talk about stretching thin. I was going to mention before, the lives are stretching thin for the Ruth Regime, and what once was a possible miracle, 2 attack rounds in a row and an unbelievable A cap, has quickly diminished as the avalanche of Ironblood starts to collapse upon them, and they take the round eventually, and that is what you call a breakdown on that A point. It was just a sliver. It was just probably only about half a second for Ruth Regime to capture that A point, and we know how easy it is to get B after you capture A. That is a tragic, tragic series of events, and it is a unfortunate one as well. As we head into this 3rd round, Ironblood, they are going to be up 2-0 now at the current point. You could call these guys the Baudelaire children with that unfortunate series of events, but I don't know if you get that reference. But either way, it is going to end up being Ironblood trying to take their crack at the A point. It is Conwa now next up to get the kill, as well as teammates there for the help. And it is going to end up being Ironblood already trying to do what Ruth Regime tried to do before. But this time, can the Avalanche be in Ruth Regime's favor? No, it seems like it cannot. As Ironblood, they stay consistent on the point. Well, actually it can, because suddenly Easy and Vigil go huge.
Yeah, Vigil's been great with that pistol all series long. He's got that AR, but it doesn't help him in close range gunfights against subs. He's able to put himself in a position to find those kills with those pistols. But man, if we look at the score line here, we can totally see an advantage from Ironblood Gaming, especially a Wraith sitting 18-9 after 2.5 rounds now played. That A site doesn't quite get captured, as Ruth Regime is able to force Ironblood off, but Ironblood certainly has the momentum, certainly has the gunny in their favor. Currently being forced off of this B site by Ruth Regime and EX, who's sitting right on top of the site. A lot of players like to ignore the B site and just play A, but both Ironblood and Ruth Regime understanding that they need to be able to force the team off of the B site and pick up those kills to influence the lives remaining. Ruth Regime still sitting strong with 20 lives remaining. 14 only for Ironblood Gaming, as Vigil and EX are able to find a couple of their own. Vigil gets traded out, so does X, as Conwa finds that kill on him. The B site has not even found a single tick yet, as it will here in just moments, as Ironblood is finally able to get on to this site with 27 seconds remaining. X, his killing spree is still alive, 5 strong. Vigil will find 2 untraded as well, as these two teams are exchanging punches in this round. It could either way, but really it's live or die here for Ruth Regime, as they need to win this round to be able to keep the map alive. Iron Blood, though, at times looks completely unstoppable as Rek and a teammate will sit on this B site and completely capture it. Ooh, Crafty trying to set up for the trap as Iron Blood leaves P2. They're not able to do so as he'll get beamed off that BAP tank. Crafty winning an important gunfight just under dubsteps. This A site's already contested as Iron Blood's already able to fly around the map. Conwa can't find the two-piece, and Ize will clear off the progress made at A. 6-6 we sit right now, right at the bare end, tied at the moment. A Wraith in the spot. Outer can't find the kill. Great kill by Crafty. He'll follow up with another one. No response remaining for Iron Blood Gaming, and just 2 remaining. Vigil and Crafty, and Ruth Regime has this A site on lock, trying to move up through this train station. It's going to be awful work for them, and very unlikely that they make it through in a 5-2 game.
Very unlikely for sure. And Ruth Regime, they are just staying alive. They are just trying to hold on by a mere thread, as it seems like they're going to prevail for just a little bit longer. But hey, Reader, this has been completely the opposite of the previous games. The other ones have been super close, whereas this one, Iron Blood, they have been pretty dominant, but yet at the same time, of course, there's all of those close moments. So I have to say that Ruth Regime, if they want to continue that trend, they got to turn up here, and there's the ability to do it. You just got to win that attack round, push that game 5. I don't know who has tick advantage, but I do know who has the advantage right here off the bat. It's going to end up being Gunny with the initial shots into some players, but a Wraith able to get the nade onto Vigil, and trades go down, and it is going to end up being those typical pinstripes in the kill feed, as Ize, though, he tries to break that pattern and finds 2, but it is going to be Iron Blood now trying to get there. They just gotta go for the defense, and they do so. It's Conwa towards the top. Now X next up as the next challenger, able to find the kill. He touches A for a little bit here, time being paused, as B zone also going to be touched as X. He is the lone defender taken down eventually, but the distraction is in, and you try to get that B point if you're Ruth Regime, but Iron Blood, they push forward and they push them out.
Yeah, they could have a little bit of a trap here on Ruth Regime. Rek's gonna try to find a free one hiding underneath this door. But as I was talking about before this map started, Berlin control is not one-sided as the rest of the control maps can be. So that may be why we saw Iron Blood winning the first 2. Ruth Regime could very well come back, although the initial part of this map screams Iron Blood Gaming to me so far. But how fast can that change, especially between these 2 teams, as we've seen not only in this map but in this series? 2 trying to hit outer door right now. Iron Blood's going to be able to pick up 1. The second comes through again for Conwa. He finds a 3rd outside of train station and outer, and Iron Blood will push up with that 4 down. Still, that B site hasn't been captured. Conwa with a nice jump shot finds the tail end of a kill and is able to get himself a ×5 killing spree. He could be looking at streaks here as he finds the 6th. That's the straight, but obviously G8. There is the cruise for Conwa, as that is awesome. He's gonna call it in right away. Can he find a free kill on 1 as Ruth Regime is just spawning up? He will likely. Yes, he finds it on X, and Iron Blood Gaming will win the map with that. What an incredible performance at the end from Conwa, as he will clutch it up with his teammate for his team. An incredible individual effort from him.
Yeah, you ride that momentum. You start going wild. Look at the wild shots out of Conwa right there. 24 and 24, how he's going to end things out. Just a solid 1.0 KD, and it is flying colors for Iron Blood Gaming. They come out on top once more, once again, and now up 2-1 in the series. Now it's up to Ruth Regime to muster something up to challenge them. But yeah, you talk about Conwa, and you talk about the way that he started turning up in that game. It was lights out there at the end, and I cannot tell you what's going to happen in the rest of the series, because if anything is characteristic, it would be Ruth Regime tying it up 2-2. But we'll have to see. But if we talk about momentum a little bit more here, you go into another Berlin. So far, it has been both of the Berlins for Iron Blood. If Ruth Regime win this hard point, I think they genuinely could totally win this whole series in the game 5. However, of course, if Iron Blood's able to win that Berlin hard point, they close that out in a 3-1. And then you start to catch a gander at the map set if you're other teams, and you realize, geez, Berlin, that's a strong point for Ironblood.
Hey, yeah, this hard point on Berlin is going to be the most unique game mode that we've played on Berlin, I guess you could say, as it is the only game mode that's not round-based. Yes, it is a respawn, just as Control is, but it's sort of a different breed. And if we look back in this series, we understand that Ruth Regime took that first map, just barely, if you remember, but they did take that first Bocage hard point. Now they're looking to take the second hardpoint of the series to force a game 5. Live or die for Ruth Regime. And if we go back and talk about Conway, I mean, my goodness, dude, in these moments, the shining players shine real bright as he is able to clean up Ruth Regime to take that map and completely avoid the round 5 control. We look at these stats here created by Wiggs. Conway's rated 88. I suspect that could rise by the end of the series, but Raquatic is I don't believe he's actually playing this one. I believe he is subbed in. Crafty is subbed in. He's gonna find an overall, and so is X is also gonna have an overall at the end of this series. So across the board, Ruth Regime is all gonna have overalls, which is just gonna add to their team's rating. And that's going to be interesting to see come the next time that they play. But we still have this series to think about here at Empathy, and 1-2 in favor of Ironblood Gaming. Do you think we're going to need a map 5?
You know, that's a hard question, right? Because you have a team like Ironblood showing out on the Berlin. So if you were to look at that trend, you'd say, yes, Ironblood, they take it in the 3-1 on Berlin. However, if you look at the trend of the series, Ruth Regime, by the way, I think they come out of this series regardless as a better looking team within the league. I don't know if you agree, but I feel like they are going to come out as just still stronger even if they lose this one. But if you look at the trend of the series, yeah, I think they could push this one forward just because of the fact that they have been keeping things close. So, you know what, if I were to go with the trends, you know, and we're going back to hardpoint as well, that was a strength point for Ruth Regime. I'm just going to go for it. I love Game 5s. I'm going to say yes, they can push that Game 5 and we can see that Game 5 win for Ruth Regime. I think that's what's going to happen, especially if it does go back to that Bocage map. Yet on the other hand, though, you know, Ironblood, they do look decent at Search and Destroy too, though. But it was close in that Berlin. We'll see how close it can get going into this hard point. But if I were to give you my input, Reader, that'd be what I would say.
Right off the bat, the first thing I'm thinking about is who gets the good spawns in this Berlin hardpoint. As everybody knows, off of that P1, somebody's going to get initial if they're spawning back behind P3, and that's guaranteed. So we're going to see which team has the advantage right off the bat, and we're going to see if that opposite side spawning team, which is actually Ruth Regime, Ironblood Gaming, is spawning in the close spawns, the good spawns. If Ruth Regime is able to get that 4 down right off the bat and take those spawns really early on, that can work out for them flawlessly to be able to take time off of this P1 as we get underway right here. Ironblood stepping on the hard point, and here comes Ruth Regime very shortly after a battle outer here that's going to be lost by a Wraith and won by Crafty. X is going to find another one as the hard point falls blue right off the bat.
It does fall blue, and it is going to end up being the blood spilled of Ironblood Gaming initially here as they try to bust their way in through all angles possible. And a Wraith, he's doing just that, trying to find the kills as Gunny also amounts for 1 as well. They break in, 20 seconds left to be accrued on this first point, and it is going to be the rotation from Ruth Regime. Pay attention to your mini-map. It's going to be number 3, number 4, number 1, all making their way through towards that P2 side of the map, but here comes the rotational battle. It's number 6. It's Wreck. He's able to find one towards Dice. He found his way through the back. Sneaky, sneaky, I must say, but here comes Ize for the trade. He's going big. And now Ironblood, they try to perform the battle on the point, but Ize, he is here to perform as well. Able to find one. Now trying to just break through the wood. Gosh, I cannot wait for him, W2. And now Ize, he tries to remain on the point. 40 seconds left and counting in the favor of Ruth Regime as they are down right now, but we should see a lead change here pretty soon, unless Ironblood can get a break here relatively quick.
Yeah, I mean, Ruth Regime getting the spawns for this P2 gets broken by Ironblood Gaming for a moment, but this hardpoint is also remaining white for a good amount of time as well. It's just a sign of how back and forth both the hardpoints we've seen so far have been, as Vigil, who's lying prone, is able to find 2 kills here with the sub. Vigil has been proficient with the AR so far this series, and now he's showing his colors on the sub, and that's going to be a 4 down from Ruth Regime as they try to rotate over to P3. It's just Ironblood Gaming is spawning dockside so fast that Ruth Regime can't keep up, and they're trying to hold on to those spawns. Rek and Conwa will find a couple to force Ruth Regime to continue to spawn behind P1. But, again, this hardpoint is still contested. Nobody can find a hold right now, and nobody's been able to get a clean setup. Ironblood giving it a shot here as they're able to deal with the man coming out of fire and the one sitting dubsteps, and now it's going to be a 3-man hit from Ruth Regime from Plat. One already dealt with thanks to Conwa. Gunny helping him out as well as he gets a kill on Eze. X has made his way through fire and he's got some help. Trade is needed though, as X will storm the site now. We'll find a second one. Can he find the third? He will. He had help, but he was able to do it. And he'll sit 9-6 right now and break this hard point, but only for scraps, as Ironblood Gaming has been able to get into the back here, and they're going to try to hold on to these spawns for next and continue their lead.
Yeah, and look at that, talk about continuing the lead. They are still already actively doing that. They have that rotation. They've got the spawns, but look who's the sneaky snitch trying to find his way through. It's Vigil Season trying to cause the chaos. Able to find the first one to crack things open towards this P4. 43 seconds and counting, and the kills start to go towards the favor of Ruth Regime. It's one player left up for Ironblood, and he gets taken care of. Things are looking easy for Eze right now on this Ruth Regime squad, and here comes Crafty. New kid going big. He's going big. What a kill, and what a series of kills. It is going to end up being the majority of the P4 time ticket in the favor of Ruth Regime, as kill feed still blue, and now you got to get that rotation on over towards the P5. But who's there already? It's Crafty, of course. Ironblood Gaming, they're spawning in train side right now, but Gunny going massive, finds 2 kills, and so far, yes, we were talking about how this was a very dominant mode from the side of Ruth Regime, and they're showing that they remain competitive on it.
Yeah, I mean, 98 to 85, Ruth Regime takes a 10-point lead at the moment. Right now, P5 can be a little testy, can swap very frequently if you're not able to get a solid hold or a solid trap on it. Spawns not necessarily mattering as much as they do on some other hills for this one, but you got to pay attention to that P1 spawn that will sneak up on you. Ironblood Gaming has that on lock right now, as they will finally hop on this hard point and start gaining back some of that lost time. Crafty and Conwa exchanging as part of a trade. Gunny will find Crafty to finish off that series of trades, and Ironblood will find Gunny going on a ×5 at the moment. He could be looking at streaks in the next 2 kills, as I believe he is still up. He is. Finally, he'll get shut down by Crafty. Conwa will find that trade. Oh, help from Rek as well. Vigil falls, and Ironblood ties the game at 109 and takes the lead. P1 now active, as office player Rek gets taken off. Still no break, as Wraith is able to take out Eze and Train Station, and players dropping from Ruth Regime right now. They're going to try to hit from outer into Train. They're able to find a kill on Gunny and try to get on the site. The break is on here. Rek's only able to find one, and the hard point will go blue. Immediate take back here, and this series of trades will finish with Rek on the point, but the setup never ends, as both these teams just go back and forth on these hard points.
Well, of course, this one's reminiscent of the first game mode, and also you can see it again. It is going to end up being Gunny turning up towards the latter half as he tries to get back in the lead, as it looks like Ironblood, yes, they have done so. 147 to 115 and counting in their favor, but rotation, it's going to be X trying to squander any efforts for Ironblood to continue that lead. It is still a very, very close one. Ironblood, they're just trying to close this one out, and a Wraith, he's trying to make sure that happens as he finds 2 on the stairs, and now they have the rotation once more. Ruth Regime, they are organizing for the break right now, but they get picked off on the approach. It's Vigil season now, trying to dip and dive and slide and glide as he tries to find that first kill, but not even going to result in just one, as Ironblood still, they've held the first 30 seconds of the hill, and now Ize trying to crack things open just a notch at least for this Ruth Regime squad as he finds two, but it is still time now going in favor of Ruth Regime, but still, you gotta get the rotation, and who's there? It's Ironblood Gaming. They've found their way through, but Vigil, he's trying to do just that as well, as he tries to get kills towards the bottom side of Fire, able to find one, and now it is still a 2 versus 2 on this new point X. He goes big, finds the first one. Can he find the second? Not quite. Spawns still locked in for the side of Ironblood Gaming, and they're trying to hold strong on this P3. Right now, if you're Ruth Regime, you need to find a break.
Yeah, I mean, Ironblood Gaming was able to find spawns the first time, but they lost it just as they did just now to Ruth Regime, still spawning back docks right now, but Hardpoint is not in their favor. How long can Ruth Regime last? Not long, as it does flip once again. Crafty trying to storm the point right now. He's able to find one. He doesn't get tagged in the back as his teammate Vigil Season is able to find Gunny, and that's 3 down for Ruth Regime as they're able to take the remaining time on this hard point so far. Now the push coming from Train here as the spawns flip. Ironblood trying to make their way through. Gunny gets into fire. He fights the first one up close with an AR. Gets traded by X. Still storming through Fire is Conwa, who will also get traded. Great job by Ruth Regime to acknowledge the attacks and is able to do damage control, trading their teammates and not letting Ironblood Gaming find those pieces, especially because Ironblood launched their attack. Both their AR players just flew right in there, was only able to find once. Now, Ironblood Gaming has found the rotation for next. Ize sitting top third, though, is going to wreak havoc from the skies. He drops down, gets taken out by Gunny, who finds a second one on Vigil and a third one on X as Gunny goes crazy to find this hard point for Ironblood Gaming. They're going to break this 200 point mark, and it's all up if they can close it out. 30-point differential now between the teams. Ruth Regime trying to catch up, but it's still not out of the cards yet, as Ironblood still taking time on this P4.
You know, I was going to say Ruth Regime, they struggle in the kills department just a little bit, or, you know, they try to at least find the kills to get these breaks going, and, you know, they sometimes do that. They sometimes find the breaks, they sometimes find the kills, and that's what they rely off of, but they don't really get those rotations going, and I think that's the big thing. And I was going to say also at that P4, oh, well, they do win the kills, they do get the break, but they never did, and so now you have to get over towards that P5, and you have to try to get as much of this 45 seconds as you can, and even more importantly, you gotta rotate over towards those P1 spawns as number 2, Crafty, tries to make sure that happens, but it's going to be a lot of work. You gotta take care of those Ironblood Gaming players. Oh, there's one. Okay, so you try to get something going, but it is Rek to get the snap and get the kill, but you try to kill those lingering players as Rek now killing the lingering players off of spawn from Ruth Regime. It is going to end up being just 10 seconds for victory for Ironblood Gaming. This could have been it for Ruth Regime. After so much turbulence, they could have found the win against a strong Ironblood, and now they get their last second break in, hopefully, but no, they get shut down, and Ironblood Gaming, they're 5 seconds away and counting. Now you have the P1 rotation too. It was a good effort out of Ruth Regime. They kept it close on the game 1, they kept it close on the game 2, but Ironblood Gaming, they have run away with it, and they secure it in a 3-1. They are the Berlin Kings.
Yeah, I mean, good GG's to both teams, honestly. If you look at the 3-1 series score, it really is not the story for this series. Ruth Regime put up a valiant fight against Ironblood Gaming and had me believing for a while that they were going to at least force map 5 and potentially even take this series. Not in the cards for them, unfortunately. Ironblood Gaming showing their prowess, and in that Berlin hardpoint specifically, you were talking about the KDs. I mean, whichever team has the most KD, you can kind of assume were the ones that actually get the holds on the hardpoint and take the time and push out and control the map, and the map control was in favor of Ironblood Gaming for the majority of that map. But props to Ruth Regime for being able to break the hard point so much. They are fast, they have quick reaction times, and they're able to find kills that nobody expects them to grab. So good job from Ruth Regime. Unfortunately, not in the cards for them. I really hope that these two teams meet again at some point, but we will have to find out. 3-1 final series score for Iron Blood Gaming. We're going to head to a little bit of a break. When we come back, we are going to find an interview with a couple players on Iron Blood Gaming. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you right after this.
Hello everybody, my name is Epiphany, representing the Amateur World League, and today I am joined by the Centric Gaming Group, Cincinnati Strikers.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time. And who can say if your love grows as your heart?
You know, I'm too dog shit to be on the main team. Yeah, I suck too much, not good enough. Playing the sub role.
I play every role. I am the team pretty much. You won't see me with much time usually.
My name is Vigil. I play main sub on the team. I get like at least 2 minutes in time when I'm trying.
My name's Ize. I'm the main AR that can't hold spawns and doesn't rotate. I usually don't do nothing on the team except I just drop like a solid 2.0 KD most of the time.
All right, well, my next question for you guys is, how did your team come together?
Basically, see, I'm a team hopper. I was team hopping, and then I was with Vigil, and he was like, "Yo, we got this man named Mercury. He about to put us in the AWL." And then they picked up Salty because they think he's good, but like he's gonna stay on the sub. He won't play. And then we just have Vigil who just gets hill time.
This guy, bro. Thank
That's
God
about
I'm
it.
on the bench.
So my next question for you is, who do you see as your #1 team to beat during the Vanguard Major? Who do you have your eyes set on?
No.
Go
No,
for
no,
this,
the
Pokey.
play, no, the play. Yeah,
no,
because
no,
we
no,
got beef with
no.
him, bro.
No. ESG, absolutely.
Nah,
Fuck
that's
fuck
a
that
light
guy,
work
Con,
match.
kid.
It's a
That
light-
guy,
No,
Con,
in all
kid.
reality, it's every team pretty much. Every team can pretty much get it. We know whenever we're on it, like we're gonna come out and fry no matter what, as long as we're all clicking with shit together. And
Yeah, this clip is
doing
gonna
shit
get
done.
played when we get 3-0'd.
Hell yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Epiphany, representing the Amateur World League, and today I am joined by the Centric Gaming Group, Cincinnati Strikers.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time. And who can say if your love grows as
Welcome back, everybody, to the Amateur World League. My name is Epiphany, and I've been joined by Ryder tonight. So I'm curious to see what Kanwa has to say, though, about his great win 3-1 over this Ruth Regime squad. You know, new squad. They were struggling, and they still continue to struggle a little bit, but some close games, Kanwa. So I want to ask you, what was the mentality going into this one, knowing Ruth Regime, who they are as a roster, and how did you decide to execute based off of that?
So the mindset going into it is we had never heard of any of their gamer tags before, so there was not really like there wasn't like a game plan going into it. So we kind of just ran around that first map with our dicks up our ass, and we're just like, I don't know. There was nothing working. Nothing was firing on all cylinders. So we just kind of got smoked that first map, and then after that, I was like, okay, well, now we gotta get some of that rust off, and try and communicate a little bit, and just shoot the gun straight. It was pretty basic stuff that we just weren't doing. So I was just like, okay, let's try calming and shooting the gun now. That would probably be beneficial to winning the game.
Yeah, you guys really turned up there towards that latter half, and you brought it really, really close. But yeah, not quite able to come out on top of that one, but it didn't matter because you were able to come out on top of the rest, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, shout out to those kids. Like they shot straighter than I thought they would. So they don't really have any teamwork. at all. But they shot the gun straight, so it kept it as interesting as it could with us having pretty much, I don't know, we were so rusty. So with that in mind, they did it pretty well. So I was in there. They came into our call asking for some tips and stuff. So we were giving them some like pointers and stuff. So GG's to them. They're nice kids. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just like I don't know. We just had more like teamwork, I guess. Just more game knowledge, game IQ, gun skill. Just like I feel like we just outclassed them when we like turned it up, you know.
So walk us through Control Round 4. Right at the tail end of that map, you actually got a cruise and was able to take out one of them at the end. What was going through your head as you just found kill after kill after kill right in a row?
So pretty much what was going through my head is, damn, I am getting shit on this map. I looked up at the scoreboard, and granted you can't see the deaths, but I look over and I see a Wraith, and a Wraith he's getting lag spikes the first 2 maps. He lives in Arizona, and like the rest of us live in Ohio, so I don't know what was going on. I was watching his POV skipping all over the map. And then that third map, his internet was fine, and you could see he fried. So like I saw him just get like a nasty like 2 or 3 piece, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm like the type of person where it's like if I see other people frying, like if I see the standard that my teammates are putting up, like if they're playing to a higher standard than what I'm currently doing, I'm able to rise to that standard. But sometimes it just takes me a minute to get there. So I pretty much played like shit the whole time. It was really just like me actually putting together like, you know, my brain. Was pretty much all it came down to. So I played pretty shit that whole series. So it was kind of nice to just get backpacked. That was fun. As expected, I told you guys I was Crim 6, so this is fun.
There you go.
My last question for you is, obviously you talked a little bit about Ruth regime not having a lot of teamwork, but it became apparent after that map 1 that these guys like to play fast, and that essentially that they were cracked, and that if you gave them a chance, they were going to gun you down very quickly. So how did you guys come together as a team in map 2, 3, and 4 and counter that fast gameplay style?
So I'll give them their flowers. They shoot straight, so that's good. But we shoot straighter. Basically that first map we had to get a little bit adjusted, and then it was like, oh shit, we just lost to people I don't even know their gamer tags. Let's lay our nuts on the table and just big dick everything. And that was kind of what our mindset was after that. I'm just like, I don't know, sometimes it's like I'll get in a place where I just like get not afraid to make plays, but I just get hesitant. So sometimes I just gotta like, you know, we just gotta work together and just like I said, you just gotta big dick shit. You just gotta walk in there and just like, if you want to make a play, you just gotta go make it. Like, who gives a fuck? And a lot of like I mean, I'm not anywhere near like a pro, but a lot of these like players like that are in like that top 64, top 128 range of like challengers and stuff are afraid to make plays. So it's just like we just sort of decided, you know, just instead of just like playing in like a lull state, to just actually like, I don't know, just like make plays, you know, just play confident, just shit on everything. Like that's the mindset you gotta have. So, and like it's the same thing when I play a team when I play like a pro team or like a super top AM team, they do the same shit to me, and it's a lot harder to play against. When you make the other team adapt to how you're playing, the game is way harder. So that was pretty much it. Like, just the mindset is lay your nuts on the table. That's literally, I say it in that exact way. It's just that's what makes sense in my head, and that's pretty much it though.
Yeah, you totally just got to come out with dominance, and you have to come out swinging in every way possible. And you guys did just that, moving into those next maps. You were making plays. You were becoming dominant. I remember there's a segment on that Berlin Control where you were just running at people, just going for those plays, going for the dominance, and it showed. You guys showed that you are a great team. You guys are capable, and I'm curious to see what you guys do in the future. Conway, thank you so much for the interview. Reader, thank you so much for joining me on the cast tonight, and thank you to everybody watching. We've got some more banger matches coming up, so let's take a look at the schedule. We've got a great one here between Veer and F5 as standings. Oh, so there's the standings as Ironblood. They are going to move to 2-0 in the pool. Still New Threat, though, with a flawless record, 6-0, but Ironblood 6-1, very, very close behind them. We'll see how that shapes up moving forward, and you can just see the schedule is going to be Veer F5, Awaken Militia versus F5, Lockout, Electrify, and Nola New Threat, Awaken New Threat, and Ruth Regime again. We'll see how they do against another top team, Electrify Steel, as we kick things forward. But I just want to thank you guys again, all of you for watching, all of you for viewing, and Reader for joining me. Thanks so much, guys. That's going to be a 3-1 win for Ironblood Gaming, and we will see you all next time in the AWL.
End up on top. All summer we was working and warming up. Back then, dog, they didn't notice us. Left a mark on the game and they noticed us. I got 4 words for the media. Stop playing with me, okay? Did my time on the sidelines. Now it's prime time, and you know that I'm going there. No sign of slowing up. I got a chip on my shoulder that feel like a boulder. I'm working out daily. My confidence growing, and I'm getting bolder when I'm on the border of failing or quitting. My team right beside me remind me I'm gifted. I touch what I practice. My team getting that I'm pushing the ceiling. I wait in the balance. I'm up for the challenge. I going all the way up from the bottom to the majors. High stepping on my haters. Got them all sitting waiting till them boys dead. I came from the bottom. I was born for this. Training my whole life. Yeah, I was born for this. Going all the way up from the bottom to the majors. High stepping on my haters. Got them all sitting waiting till them boys dead. I came from the bottom. I was born for this. Training my whole life. Yeah, I was born for this. In the present tense, I'ma set a precedent. Situation tense, I used to be hesitant, but I'm getting better, never fold applying pressure. Upset alert, this is song that you can't weather. Feel the rain when I rule, big shark in the pool. Headline on the news, every day I improve. Every day, man, I prove. Everybody wrong, nobody saw me when I was all battered and bruised. Blood, sweat, tears, hope, pain, fears, all points of my view.